Joseph Jourdon, JoJo Jourdon, the man of the hour. How you doing? Welcome to the call room, Road to Seattle.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's good to be back.
I have to ask you, I called you Joseph there. How many times are you called Joseph? That's got to be pretty rare. It's strictly JoJo, it seems
Yeah,
like.
yeah. I never get called Joseph. Unless like there's a substitute teacher at school. That's about it.
Or your parents, you get in trouble. Do you get the full name when you get in trouble?
No, I actually do not. I mean, I'm very rarely called Joseph, and I'm just pretty used to JoJo now.
We were talking about this before hitting the record button on the podcast. Tell the people, I guess this is good incentive for people to watch on YouTube, the hair situation here. Good situation, not bad.
Yeah, I mean, I've been growing it out for a while now. Last time I got a cut, Brooks PR last year. You know, didn't do as good as I wanted to, but hopefully it'll be better this year. Just excited for the experience as well.
I remember Brooks PR last year was like at least what it seemed like from the outside, your first big deal, first national meet. Can you take me through what it was like getting invited to the meet and ultimately running in a race with so many stacked guys? Ultimately, Jackson
Yeah,
Heidish ended up winning. He broke four the week before. Big time race.
yeah. I mean, it was cool to be in a race like that. You don't as a high schooler, not many people get the opportunity to be invited to big meets like that. Yeah, really the first big meet that I really went to in high school. I really enjoyed it. It's kind of like going to NXN and places like that where you're invited. Everything's taken care of for you. You're really treated super nicely, and I'm excited to be back, go back. Yeah, I mean, it was a great experience last year, and I'm excited to do it again this year.
I remember the first time I had you on the podcast, and I've had this experience with other people. You see that you were on the start list for Brooks PR. I was there the whole time and I was like, I don't ever remember seeing you. You kind of flew under the radar. This year you're a bigger name going in. Was that just like your personality last year where you like flew under the radar? You were like, I'm an up and coming guy. And how do you feel like that shifted to this year where, it's impossible to fly under the radar. Like you're the top seed in the boys mile. The young guys are going to be
Yeah,
coming up to you.
yeah. I mean, I was there. I don't think many people knew who I was. I didn't really, I was there. It's I've looked up to all those guys that I was racing, so I just kind of stayed laid low. Just kind of got to soak it all in. I knew I was hopefully going to come back the next year, this year. So I really just didn't really do much. I was focused on my race. Didn't perform as well as I would have liked to, but I think I got sixth place or something like that. So I was up there competing. It was a good experience, but I'm excited. Coming in this year with the amount of talent that's going to be there, and I have an expectation. Other people have an expectation of what I should be there doing. I'm super excited for it.
A part of this series is Owen Powell, who I talked to, I think like 2 weeks ago at this point. That episode is out there for people who want to listen to it. And in that conversation, we discussed kind of the aspect of getting invited to a meet like Brooks PR. And you're so excited to even be there that a lot of times it takes away from the like savage mindset that you have the rest of the year. And that's why I think a lot of guys don't compete as well. Owen, I think, ran like 4:18 and placed last, which is just not like him. You definitely had a pretty good day for a guy who was there for the first time. But can you speak to that aspect of like you're so excited to just go to the meet? Was it hard to flip the switch and be like, oh, I want to compete? Like it's not just about being here and being invited.
Yeah, it's it is a lot of fun being there, just being able to soak it all in. But yeah, when it comes to race time, it is a little intimidating. It's the best guys in the country. It doesn't get better. Last year having Jackson sub 4 miler, it's tough to get in that mindset. Like I want to win this. I want to beat a sub 4 miler. But I think once you're at the race, everyone is just it's just kind of like everyone locks in, and before and after, everyone's having fun, like everyone's having a good time. But when you get there to the stadium, it gets real, and I think it is a great experience. And then also being, I think Miles last this year, I think it was last year, and just being able to watch all the other events is super cool as well.
So you like being the last main event. Miles last this year, Miles last year, as you said. Do you like that? I feel like I'd get so nervous.
Yeah, I like being either last or first. I like watching the other races. I think it is fun to see guys compete, and some of your friends being able to cheer them on. I feel like if you're in the middle, you don't really you're either warming up or you're cooling down or you're doing something. I think being able to watch the other races is just super fun, and with the level of competition there, you really never know what could happen and what time they're going to run. So it's super fun being able to just sit there, relax and just watch the races.
I remember last year, and I'm sure it'll be similar this year. They put the guys and girls separate lockers, kind of use the stadium, and within each individual locker, all the guys are there, right? All your competition is there. I remember the event groups would kind of hang with each other. Is it weird where normally like you're out to get the other guys and you're hanging with them? How do you balance the aspect of friendship and creating friendships while also knowing that hey, I race these guys in an hour, and when we step on the line, like I'm friends with no one?
Yeah, I think it is tough when you're sitting right next to the guy who's gonna want to just destroy you in the race. It is tough, like you're gonna be fighting against these guys in 30 minutes or something. But I think being able to as well like also like warm up with them, cool down. I think you really just get to respect each other, and once it's on the line, whoever wins wins. But going up into it, you really just having fun, and I think it's a great experience.
Talking about your race last year in the mile, controversial finish. I want to get your take on this. I don't know if you remember the controversy with Jackson and Devin. And then on the ride home, the bus ride to the hotel, I heard guys split. What's the JoJo Jordan take on this?
Honestly, I wasn't in it. I remember someone tripped someone. There definitely it got a little heated. I don't really I didn't see what happened, so I don't really have a take on it. But it happens. It's part of racing. I think it just happens sometimes, and it's tough to see, but I think it's just part of racing.
I think you said you placed sixth in that race. What was it like walking away with that result? What was your recap and reflection on the race? And in the back of your head last year, were you thinking towards this year of like, I hope I get another chance?
Yeah, of course, I would have loved to come back. That was a big goal. Going into it after my state meet, it is that we have a month between our state meet and Brooks, so it is kind of tough training by myself for that month. After my state meet, I felt super fit. I felt like I could go out there. I saw Tayson Echo Hawk. He beat me by like half a second at state, and he ran 4:01 the week after at Hoka. So I knew I was fit. I really wanted to be up there competing. Maybe trying to go sub 4. But when it came down to it, really just didn't go out as fast as probably would have liked it to. And then this is like the one thing I remember with like 300 to go, everyone shifted gears, and I just did not have a gear to shift into, and I kind of just got spit out the back of the pack, which was disappointing. But I mean, crossing the line sixth, it was just a good experience to have. I still ran 4:08. I can't complain with it at all. It was a great race, good experience, and I'm hoping to do a little better this year. But if it doesn't go to plan, it'll be all fun. I'm just there to have some fun.
Looking back on the class of 23, I've brought this up with almost every guy. I've probably brought it up with you in previous podcasts we've done over the past few months, but that class made themselves out to be a class is never going to look the same again. This year, again, you, Griffith, Simmons, I think have changed the narrative that maybe the class of 2024 could give them a run for their money. I think I asked Jackson Heidish this question. If you took a race, let's say a mile race, and you scored it cross country style, so 7 guys, top 5 score, class of 2023 versus 2024, which class are you taking?
That's tough. I don't want to root against the class of 2024, but that last year was kind of unreal. So many guys sub 4, even in the same race. But I think I think overall 2023, but I think we could give them a run for his money for their money. I think it would be pretty close.
This past week was the 2024 Hoka Festival Miles meet, where it seems the fastest miles are run every year. You were first entered in that meet and ultimately decided not to run it. What was your take? Drew running 357, Clay coming so close yet again. Heartbreak for him. I was so sad. He'll get it again next time, hopefully. But what was your take on that event overall and just like I don't know, was it tough not racing in it? And how do you take that data coming into this meet? Even though a lot of the guys are not, yeah, Clay's doing the 8, Drew's doing the 2 mile, so maybe you're in the clear here.
Yeah, it was tough missing out. I watched it live. Super cool to watch. 357. It's unreal. I wish I could have been there, but I think I got a little injured earlier in the season, and I thought I kind of just wanted to win another national title. Nike Outdoor Nationals is coming up, and I think that for my coach and I, that was the goal. If I hadn't run sub 4, I probably would have gone and tried to go for it, but I've already done it. And the goal was really just another national title. So I got a little injured, little rocky season. So it was really just the 3 or 4 weeks between state and Brooks are really just for me to sharpen up going into that meet. I think it's gonna be fun, but I wish I could have been there. It was just such a cool meet to watch live. I don't know if I would have been competing for the win. Drew is just on another level right now, but it was tough to miss out on. But I think it was super cool to watch.
Something that you can definitely speak to as a sub 4 guy yourself is the aspect of getting it done on the day. I said before the race very foolishly after watching Sadie and Allie run 4:30 and then 4:28. I was telling the Hoka people, I was like, 6 guys are about to break 4. Like, this is crazy. This is the night. Conditions are perfect. And only one guy did. And I think that was a little surprise to a good amount of people. The number I heard a lot was they thought 2, which was very, very close with how close Clay came. But the amount of 401 guys in that race, 402 guys who had run 40 sub 4s converted at altitude, like, you would think more people would have done it. Can you speak to the aspect of getting it done on the day and how, even if you're fit to do it, even if you've run a second off of it, you still got to execute on the day and get it done?
Yeah, I mean, the jump between running like a 402, 403 mile to a 359 is, that's like, so many people have run 402, 403. Not as many have run 359. I think that jump is a lot bigger than just 4 seconds. And then executing on the day, it's just so much tougher than people really think. I think they had a pacer. I don't know what he was planned to come through in, but some of the guys. I mean, I watched, and Drew and Clay really just gave it a run for it. Some of the guys just didn't really commit to that pace, and I think if you come into the bell lap like needing 57 or 58, it's going to be a lot tougher than if you come through the bell lap in 3 flat and you got to go 59. I think the motivation is there, like just to give it all. But I think executing on the day is definitely the toughest part. You can trust in your training, do everything right, but if it just doesn't line up on the day, it can sometimes it doesn't happen.
Let's go back a little and talk about this injury you've mentioned. And I think it's newer since the last time we spoke. Take me through this injury, how it came about, and ultimately the recovery process to get to where you are today.
Yeah, so about a week, I'd say, after Arcadia, I I was mid workout and it was my back and it kind of just blew up on me mid workout just during 200s. Um, at first, I thought it was just like a little bit of tightness. I did end up just cutting the workout early, going home and cross training for the cool down. That's something I'm really big on. Is just if I ever feel anything, I really just don't try to push it. I think it's not worth it. Um, that day, it was like so. Basically, my facet joint got inflamed, and the muscles around it began to spaz up. And it took me out for about 3 weeks of cross training. Um, it was tough. Cross training is extremely boring, and I don't get to be with my teammates every day. I'm just in the gym by myself. So I went into it with the mentality that I'm going to come out fitter than I was. I'm going to work just as hard as I do in my running training. Every day on the I use the I for me it was the elliptical. That was my thing. It was I had workouts where I hurt more than I normally do running, but I came out of that thinking, I want to come out just as fit and if not fitter than when I got this injury. And then about 3 weeks after, slowly started incorporating running and cross training. So like 30-minute cross train, 30-minute run, really just seeing how my back reacted to it. Took me a while, probably 5, 6 weeks before I was, full running again. I think something that a lot of people take for granted, or at least I did when I, got this, was that I took for granted being healthy. It's tough getting injured. For me, that was my first major injury in my entire high school or running career. Um, and I really just took for granted being healthy, and that just being able to run consistently, and also just being able to run with my teammates. It's tough. Everything I did cross training was by myself, and just I kind of missed having easy runs with my teammates, just getting to talk, workouts, grinding it out together. But I'm finally healthy. It took a while, and I'm building the confidence. I got to race at my state meet. I won 2 state titles. I think going into this, it's really just been about not pushing it. I could have run 3 or 4 events at my state meet, and gone for the triple, but it just really, to my coach and I, it wasn't worth pushing my injury, or like pushing getting re-injured just to win another race. Our focus was this, and I'm super excited, and I'm proud of myself of how I handled my injury, because it was my first one, and it was really tough on me. But I'm excited to be back.
I know Arcadia didn't go as well as you would have hoped, despite running a crazy time that would have won almost every single year previous to it. Was it difficult then the next week getting injured? I think a lot of people, after having a tough race, they're like, back to the drawing board. I'm going to work harder than I ever have before. I'm going to close the gap on the top guys. And you ultimately ended up getting injured the week after. How difficult was it mentally? You kind of talked to the physical aspect. What was it like mentally dealing and struggling with this injury?
Yeah, of course, Arcadia. I was up there competing, but I didn't run as fast, or place as high as I would have liked to. I walked away as an 8:42 miler. I cannot complain at all. It was, it was a great meet, but yeah, going into that next week, like these next, we had a good block of like 3 or 4 weeks without any racing. I said, I'm going to put my head down and grind these next 4 weeks out. I'm going to come back, and I'm going to be fitter than I've ever been. Going into the big one for me was BYU Invitational. And I was super excited. And then, I got injured, and mentally, I think my, like, work ethic didn't change. Like, I told myself that I'm gonna work just as hard, if not harder, on the elliptical or cross training to get out of this. I didn't want to push recovery too quickly. I was going to, push my fitness to that next level. I think I didn't want to start running too early or make this injury any longer than it had to be. So I just knew that I was going to have to, for 3 or 4 weeks, put my head down, and really just grind, something other than running. And then, of course, it was tough mentally. Just being my first injury, really just being away from the sport for 4 months, or sorry, 4 months, 3 weeks or 4 weeks. It was super tough, but once I did start to run again, it really just I really just got to cherish it a lot more. Just missing out on so much, and then being able to come back and just do stuff with my teammates. It was just I think it really brought everything, like how do I say this? Like, mentally, I was just a lot stronger coming back, and just ready to put my head down with my teammates and just really work these last couple of weeks. But I think overall, being my first injury, I handled it pretty well.
A lot of people going into Brooks PR are at the end of their season. They've been really going after it since January. Do you almost feel like viewing this from the perspective of like you're only gaining fitness at this point? Like, I could be wrong here, but it's pretty hard for me to imagine that like you've hit your peak and you're like on the downslope, like a lot of guys probably are, even if they don't realize it. For you, it's only going up from here.
Yeah, I was talking to my coach about this morning. Like, I've honestly only raced probably 6 times, six, maybe 5 or 6 meets, including indoor season. I think overall, I'm fresher than anyone at Brooks PR just because of how little some dudes have 15, 16 races in their leg. It's like I'm here. I've run maybe 4 races in the past 2 months. So, and then just with my confidence just skyrocketing from workout after workout that I am completing, I'm just super excited to be able to compete with these guys. When they're at their peak, and then I'm getting towards the best fitness of my life.
Are there any workouts you've done recently that have given you a boost of confidence going into Seattle?
Yeah, last week, like last Friday, I had a pretty big one. So it's like, I don't know if you know the Michigan, but it's like the mile, and then like the float mile, 12 mile, 8 mile. I was like, I think I came through miles like 4:34, and then I like did 5:15, maybe I think 3:18 through 1200, 5:10 through the float mile, 2:04 high through the 800. I think I went like 5:09, and then I closed in like 56 high. That one, I've done the Michigan multiple times, and I've never like hit it out of the park. Um, and that was a great workout. I think overall it was just because when I looked at the workout that my coach sent me, I was like, oh my goodness, this is cooking. I don't know if I can take this. And I got out there, and I was like, oh, I feel amazing. So I think really just being able to control how fast I'm running. Like, I wasn't pushing anything, so just being able to smooth and steady is something that I've been working on. Sometimes I think in workouts that I do push a little too hard. So I think just staying relaxed and keeping my form fluid and smooth has been something that I've really been working on. And to be able to run that fast, just feeling so smooth and fluid is just a really big confidence booster going into these big meets.
I think something crazy unique about Brooks PR is that it's on a Wednesday. Have you had discussions with your coach of like how you structure training going into a Wednesday meet?
Yeah, honestly, I haven't had that discussion, but I it's out of my hands. I fully trust what my coach does. I think I am super ready and super fit to race. It's also tough because I go Wednesday, Saturday, so I think just that. I mean, it is a good amount of time between the two, but just fitting in little small workouts, little tune-ups. I fully trust my coach. That's something that he does. I try to stay away from that side, but I'm super excited for it. I think Wednesday, you don't get a race on Wednesdays that often, so I mean, why not?
Maybe like a dual meet. When do you guys have dual meets in Utah? Tuesdays?
Probably Tuesday, Thursdays are like JV meets.
Okay.
Sometimes we race a 4x4 or something, but we don't often race those.
NXN champ, not doing the dual meets. Hey, I wouldn't either. Jojo, I want to ask you about your state meet. You talked about coming back for your state meet, how much that meant. You were two-time state champion, and then I think y'all set the 4x8 school record. Take me through those races, those performances, and ultimately what it meant to get back in time for a final state meet in Utah.
Yeah, Utah is just so loaded. So going into the state meet, of course, I'm nervous with the guys, the competition that I do have to race. It's just unreal how good everyone is nowadays. I raced my 3,200 and 4x8 on Thursday, and then I had the mile on Saturday. So I had a day between the two. Thursday, I don't know my time. I think around like 9:12 or something for the 32. My coach just said don't push it, just go with 600 to go. And one of my good friends actually ended up going with 600, so I didn't even have to go. He completely broke the pack apart. And then with like about 200 to go, I just shifted into another gear. Ended up winning that one. I think super super happy with that first state title on the track. And then coming back later that night, my last race with my high school teammates, it means a lot. We've been going for the school record all year, and we definitely have the capability. We ended up running 7:57 in the 4x8. Some guys didn't do as well as they would have liked to, but when it came down to it, I saw, I don't know what I saw. I think it was like, I think I was like 6:08 on the clock, and I ended up, I don't know actually what I was split 151. So I saw something on the clock, and I said, I can put this the school record away. We were like, we were deep in like far back, and I think I just fought as hard as I could. It was super special to do with my teammates. These are guys that I've run with for all 4 years, and to be able to break a school record, it was just amazing. And then coming back Saturday, honestly, I think the mile was something that I was the most confident in. I think I knew with a couple workouts leading up to it that I was fit and I could win it. It really didn't go out as super fast. So, I think we came through 800 in like 209, 210, something like that. So not fast at all. And then I didn't go with like 300 until 300 to go. I ended up closing in, I think, 55 or something like that. So super proud of the way I'm able to win races. I almost got DQ'd because I celebrated down the stretch. But I thought it's my last day. Me might as well have some fun with it coming down the
So
stretch.
you not only closed in 55, but 55 while celebrating.
Yeah, I mean, I just like
It's a
threw my hands
flex.
up and got the crowd hyped a little down the stretch, and that coach told me I almost got DQ'd for it. He got called to
Why
like,
though? That I don't get state official. Like, who is someone reporting you? Is it the officials who make that decision?
yeah, it's the officials. I don't know. I think I just wanted to have some fun. If I got DQ'd,
That's
I got DQ'd.
crazy.
It's all right. I mean, I would have known I would have won it. It would have been fine. But I think it's just sometimes it's good to have some fun with the races. I think some races are a little more boring to watch than others. So might as well get the people involved a little bit.
Yeah, I don't get that. If you would have gotten DQ'd, oh my gosh, the running internet would have exploded, as they should. Like, but you're really gonna DQ a kid who clearly won for throwing his hands up a little at the end? I think the only scenario in my mind where you would DQ a kid is like if they were like rude to another competitor across the line or
Yeah, if you're like taunting someone across the line, then maybe that's just like not really. There's not much sportsmanship in that. But if I'm just like, if I'm not pointing at anyone in the race, I'm just getting the crowd involved. I think I don't know. Some people have different opinions. I think it's all right.
hey, do it at Bricks PR, you'll be fine. I think they only DQ. I think at these like national caliber meets, they will only DQ you if it's like extremely egregious. They're all for
Yeah,
celebrating because I feel like Simeon almost got DQ'd at Nike last year. I don't know if you heard that
yeah.
story. So I don't know.
I
It has
didn't
to
know
be
that,
pretty
but
extreme.
I'm not really surprised. I think the targeted shush maybe, I don't know, but I was a little surprised by that. But I think he's just having fun with it. It's,
Right.
it's all right.
Well, what he said on the podcast was similar to you. He's like, even if I did get DQ'd, I know I was the best guy in the race. I won fair and square. So celebrate, kids. Just I wouldn't target it at other people. But to get DQ'd or even be in the consideration for DQ'd if you're not, it's just you hyping up the crowd. That's crazy. That's bad for the sport. But anyways, okay, looking ahead to Brooks PR. How you feel? Next week, we are recording this Tuesday, June 4th. You race in 8 days. What's the feeling, man? Final Brooks PR.
Super excited, just ready to get back out there. I don't know. Is it at the same track as last year?
Hmm.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, it's just a great track. I'm super excited to be back there. It's gonna be just a great experience, and then, seeing all the guys that I've raced with across the country and everyone being at the same meet. I think it's gonna be super fun. Just bonding with everyone else, and then, some guys head off to New Balance, some guys head off to Nike. So hopefully hit a couple of runs with the guys. Before those national meets, and I'm just super excited. I think I'm in some of the best fitness of my life, and I'm really just excited to prove to myself how fit I am, and hopefully go for the win.
Top seed in the boys' mile. Do you feel any pressure? Do you feel a target on your back, or do you feel pretty loose going into this?
Um, you know, I feel like top seed doesn't really mean much when everyone's like between 359.9 and 402 point something. So I think it's gonna be a super tight race. Of course there's always a little bit of pressure. But I'm just gonna I trust in what I've done and the workouts that I have put together, and I'm super excited for the opportunity to race the fastest guys in the country.
How do you feel like this race will shape up without giving away your race plan? I mean, I do think you are a caliber above, at least from a timing perspective, even if you won't acknowledge it. Like 4 minute bear is a bear for a reason. You've done it. You're the only guy in the field to do it. Maybe guys will key off of what you do, but do you feel like guys are going to try to break four? Clay kind of did last year, and then it settled down a lot, and then there was a fast close. Simeon last 2 years, I think it came through slow, and then he closed in like 57 or something crazy like that. What's your take on how this race is going to go? Do you think we'll see a sub four out of this, or do you think it'll purely be championship style tactics?
I think when it comes to championship season, I don't know. I don't feel like anyone's willing to take a risk and go out there and go through 800 and 159 and just take everyone with them. I think sub four is possible. I just don't think it will be sub four where we go out in 159. If it does happen, we go out in like 202, 203 or something like that, and someone ends up having a close that goes under. When it comes to championship style racing, it's really just I feel like for me, time's out the window. I don't care what I run. I'm just here to place high. Yeah, I mean that's my mentality going into it.
JoJo, final question for you, closing out our conversation today. You went to Brooks PR last year. What is one thing you're looking forward to off the track this year?
For me last year, was just meeting everyone. Not even, just guys I've looked up to. Now it's like all those guys are my friends. I'm super excited. Just yeah, for the most elite high school kids in the country to be in one's place. It's really cool. You can just bond with everyone about stuff on and off the track. I'm super excited. The small events and the small stuff they do for us to really just get everyone together. At Brooks. It's just a great event, and being able to get together and from kids all across the country. I'm super excited for it.
JoJo, appreciate the conversation as always. Looking forward to seeing you rip it next Wednesday. Maybe sub four. We'll see. If there's a guy I'm betting on to do it, it's you. Best of luck, man.
Thank you.